On May 28, 2012, a video game media and entertainment website posted an article in hopes of finding new contributors, writers, and content. This event sparked the conception of a new show, a show that will change the way people talk about video games. In this show, people will discuss video games like adults, not just reviews, not just opinions, but real conversations. 3 weeks later, It's Just a Game was born and uploaded for the world to see. Now, it's your turn to see.
Yeah, cheap is basically you're using the best strategy that you can and the other person doesn't like it.
It is, but if it is just a game, then we'll handle your real life shit, then come play this game.
Rock and Roll Racing was awesome. It's gonna be the new MMO.
You're gonna be a what? Yeah, people don't do that. People are doctors. Why aren't you a doctor?
Hello, and welcome to the first episode of It's Just a Game, where we like to discuss video games in an adult setting. To my far right is Z, non-professional competitive gamer. To my left is the man known as ICC. And to my immediate right is 9-Inch Samurai, who is a new competitive gamer to the scene of Colorado, but showing some promise. You were saying that you joined the scene in about 2009, 2010, around that area?
Well, sort of. I didn't really start even going to tournaments until a few months ago. But I've known about the fighting game community here for since 2006-ish. But I didn't really start going to tournaments until a few months ago. Mm-hmm. And I just decided to be more social, and it's been working out pretty well. Does anybody else have any experience with competitive gaming they want to share at this point? I mean, I know Z, you do online competitive gaming for the most part.
Well, I mean, it's funny because when you play games like Call of Duty and Halo and StarCraft and stuff like that, everybody's an online competitive gamer.
Yeah.
But I am competitive, but to the point of entering in tournaments and doing that kind of stuff, not really to that extent.
Well, let me ask you this question. What would it take to get into let's just take StarCraft 2 as an example.
Oh, geez.
What would it take to get into that tournament scene? What would you have to be able to do?
A passport, because...
Well, it's all in Korea, obviously. Right. Let's just say, for instance, you're entering a local tournament, in the United States, but it's a big one, What would be considered good?
Oh, man. To be honest with you, it's funny because when you talk to people who, if you play a game with somebody else and they are definitely better than you, leaps and bounds ahead of you, and you talk to them and you're like, dude, why don't you enter in tournaments? And they're like, because I suck. That's pretty much the mentality that I have, because all the people that I play with are definitely better than me. Most of the people that I play with are in Master League, which is... That's the top. You can't get any...
That's past Diamond League, right?
Yeah. Masters is...
And just to explain for people who don't know, it's
right.
Bronze, silver, gold, and then platinum, and then master. Diamond, then master. Yeah.
Diamond, master.
And then masters. So master's the top tier, and most of the kids that I play with on there are master level, and I'm like, dude, why don't you enter competitions and stuff like that? And they're like, well, because, you kind of have to... I mean, it's a dedication of a lifestyle, which it really comes down to is that you have to you're going to have to commit some sort of extent of your time to doing that, unless you're a prodigy or something like that, which, how many prodigies do you know? Most of the people that consider themselves hardcore competitive gamers are typically willing to put in at least 10 to 12 hours a day, almost like a full-time job, in order to get to that point. And that's just practicing. That's not even competing.
Hell, that's 4 hours more than a job, and you're not taking a lunch hour on top of that.
Right. And so really, in order to be that way, it's such a commitment, and I don't know. For me, it's not really worth it. I got my own priorities.
It does take a level of dedication. I played competitive as far as Madden. I got to, pretty high level. I felt that, there wasn't many that could beat me. And yeah, there was days where, 12 hours is nothing.
Right.
We've done days. At first, we weren't even competitive. As far as trying to go to tournaments. We were competitive, we were winning games.
Right.
But we weren't trying to win money. We weren't entering tournaments till later on that year when we realized, we did have something.
Yeah.
Like we were smashing people in this game. So later on, we went into tournaments and we won some tournaments. That's not even a question. Like we dominated some tournaments.
At a certain degree of competitive level, that you have to know your competition as well, and there's all that study too.
Oh yeah.
So I mean, like if you watch it on TV, you're like, oh, it's two dudes playing a game, and they're really good at the game, but you also have to factor in that probably. They're watching their highlight reels. They're watching, the loser reels, stuff like that. What can I do? What can I do to get that in?
Film. Like anybody, if you want to improve, study your film.
Right.
Record some of your matches. Record some of your games. Study. See where you can improve. I mean, NFL players do it. NBA players do it.
Right.
It's nothing new.
Right.
Just to improve.
Agent Gaming actually has quite an interesting thing. I mean, if we look at the people at the table, our ages range in the 20s and 30s at this point. Me being 29, 30 soon, 31, 24, and...
Almost 29.
29, yeah, 28, 29.
Speaking of that, that's another thing you hear from the online gaming community a lot, at least in Call of Duty. They're like, oh man, you're 30 years old. What are you doing playing this game? And when I'm 30, I'm going to be doing this. It's like, dude, hold on. You're 10 years old. You don't know what the hell you're going to be doing when you're 11 years old, let alone when you're 30 years old.
Right.
Our generation, I grew up with Nintendo.
Right.
When I was, a kid, that was huge.
Yeah.
When my father was a kid, he didn't have Nintendo.
He had books.
Yeah, he had books. He had a football and a basketball. He's outside playing sports.
Right.
He didn't have an 8-bit Nintendo that he can come home and enjoy.
Right.
Our generation, all the generations after ours, have that.
I think the stereotype is that you have to be young in order to enjoy games. When I think it's like the average gamer is 37 years old.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, with those studies, though, you still get into some issues about how they define a gamer. And that whole thing's crazy now with Facebook games and stuff like that. People get really, it's a whole it mucks up everything. Cause it's like, oh, you're not really a gamer. All you do is play phone games. And
that's where.
I'm a gamer who does play phone games, but that's just when you're mobile.
Right.
That's just when you're out and about, when you need your little fix.
And the other
but
thing
if that's
is
all
that,
you play, then you're probably not a gamer.
So where's the line drawn?
Well,
see, I think there's a difference between a hardcore gamer and a professional gamer.
I definitely agree with that.
I think the line you're talking about would be more of a professional gamer.
Yeah.
If you're going to tournaments, you're winning money, you're more of a professional gamer.
Yeah.
Right.
Those hardcore gamers who aren't professional. You're a hardcore gamer, but not professional.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you win a little bit of money, you can't call yourself a professional. If you win a tournament locally and win $150, can you live off that?
Right.
Right. I mean, until you get to the national scene and you could actually make a living off of it, you're a pro, in my opinion.
That's really hard.
I know.
Because
it's
most
getting easier.
It is getting easier. You're right, but I mean, as far as professional level, you're talking about most of the people that I've read about and stuff like that, that play on a national level, they eat by their paychecks, which come from sponsors. They buy cars from the win money from exclusive games.
If they get that much.
The lines are kind of blurred when it comes to professional gaming.
I know.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to pin.
Professional means that is your profession.
That's
true.
That is your
I think it's
career.
just kind
That
of
is
hard
what you do.
right now since there's not as much money involved.
Yeah, it's so new. The only place that you could really truly be a professional gamer would probably be Korea.
Yeah,
It's true.
StarCraft.
Yeah.
Definitely.
They have teams.
I feel like that's such a hard career path to go down because your mom's not gonna like it. You're gonna be a what? Yeah, people don't do that. People are doctors. Why aren't you a doctor? So I mean, that's one thing is the approval of your family circle and stuff like that. But the other thing is that people are competing for your job daily.
Yeah. Moving on. Diablo 3. There's a lot of mixed opinions about it.
There is a lot of mixed opinions, and by and large, those mixed opinions, they aren't completely unfounded. And I know that a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this because, I don't know, there's a lot of Blizzard fanboys out there who, no matter what Blizzard drops onto them, they're just going to be like, thank you, we love you.
Rock and Roll Racing was so awesome, man.
Right.
Rock and Roll Racing was awesome. It's going to be their new MMO.
The stage is set. The green flag drops. Frankfurt's about to blow. Holy Toledo!
If you're gonna pray, do it now. Nitro.
Anyway, it's one of those things. But I mean, with me, I felt like with Diablo, where it really stuttered was the fact that it took a lot of the core concepts of Diablo 2, the things that you loved about Diablo 2, and threw them out the window. And what they tried to do essentially was they tried to fix a system that wasn't broken to begin with. And I mean, I know that it's hard for a studio to go back and say, hey, listen, we put together this really stellar game, how do we improve upon it? But it isn't going back to the drawing board, the proverbial drawing board, looking at everything that everybody loved about it and then erasing it. Like, to me, that just seems ridiculous, just for the sake of putting your own spin on it. And how do you put your own spin on an already established title? It just feels like, it feels a little bit lackluster. One thing that you know for Blizzard is that they're stickler for polish. Whenever you get a game, it's going to be polished with 14 different coats, and there's going to be a nice sheen on it. It isn't that way with Diablo 2. Diablo 3, sorry. And like you were talking about, how you know, some of the game just feels boring, and I completely agree with you.
Yeah. I was just saying that it's a really boring game from like levels 1 through, I guess I would say 19, because that's when you unlock your final skill. But really, it's just like some point, like I'd say Act 3, it's just, but up until that, it's just so boring because they're sure they give you a lot of abilities and new runes and stuff leading up to that point, but like, you're just so limited by the kinds of enemies you're fighting anyway, and it's like, okay, you get all these kind of different options, but you still have to equip, you know, these certain kinds of skills because you only have so many slots, and you need the single target skill no matter what. Right. And you only have 3 slots or 4 slots. It doesn't really matter if you're getting new stuff, but you always need something like that.
Right, and the thing is that with Blizzard, there's thousands and thousands and thousands of people posting on their threads, hey, guys, listen, this is what's broke about your game. Can you please fix it? And they're like, listen, we're, you know, I mean, the game just came out, so you got to give us some time to... No, bullshit. The game's been in development for 10 years.
Yeah, that's true.
What the hell are you doing in 10 years that you can't figure out your game is broke as sin?
Well, it could have been Duke Nukem Forever.
That's true.
But we all knew what to expect from that when it came out.
Right. And so that's what I'm saying is that they gave us an unpolished, convoluted mess, and they expected us to just eat it right up. And the thing is that it's called Diablo 3, which means there is a predecessor called Diablo 2, which was super good, and I kind of felt like they rode on the coattails of success. I don't know about you. What do you think?
Yeah, probably. I think so. Because I was playing Diablo 2 the other day just to like throw it back in there, and I was just like noticing I was playing through Act 1. I'm like, man, this is just so different from Diablo 3. Like, just everything about this game just feels so different.
Basically, guys are saying that it shouldn't have been called Diablo 3.
Almost.
Yeah. You know? And like I said, it doesn't feel like a true successor.
Yeah.
It just doesn't.
I agree with that.
And so that's a lot of the problems that they're running into. I'm optimistic. I haven't asked for a refund yet because I know that at least it's Blizzard, and they will polish it over time. They will add patches. It will get better. I have faith in that. I'm not returning my game. I'm not that angry. But for right now, I felt like I bought a $60 unplayable game. Okay, take that back. It's not unplayable, but it's just really disheartening to play.
Yeah, especially with so many quality titles from Blizzard.
Yeah. I mean, you would just expect better.
Guess we'll have to move on to another topic then.
I guess so.
Okay.
I've got too many thoughts on that. I could take up the entire time talking about those. We're good. Just keep moving.
All right, we'll move on to another topic. What is your worst experience in gaming?
To me, personally, and I know you guys are going to hate me for this, it's the PlayStation controller. I absolutely hate that thing.
But here's the
That's
thing.
the greatest controller ever made.
I'm on the opposite end. I hate the Xbox controller.
Yeah.
With a passion.
Yeah.
Dear
Oh,
Lord,
yeah.
it is so
PlayStation,
It's
uncomfortable.
more
PlayStation control.
ergonomic.
Oh.
Bullshit.
PlayStation control is the best one ever
Bullshit.
made.
No.
That's not.
All right.
The most ergonomic controller is the Nintendo controller.
Well, no, that's what I was right. Take it back. Nintendo, perfect controller, right? Just a little bit blocky, you might hurt your hands after a while,
Yeah.
so you make it round, right?
Yeah,
That's
right.
Super
Super
Nintendo.
Nintendo.
Add the shoulder buttons, right? Then you're like, all right, well, we're growing up a little bit. Hands are a little bit bigger. Add handles. What you got? PlayStation controller.
Here's the
Perfect
problem.
controller. PlayStation.
Here's the problem, is that the analog. Okay, here they didn't. Okay, I had a PS1. Okay,
Yeah.
I remember when the dual analog sticks came out, dude.
That was a big
And-
deal.
And everybody was like, "Oh man, now we're gonna
Greatness.
play games completely different."
Yep, and you do.
And you do. The thing is that when they came out with the PS2's controller, I was like, okay, cool, you got the dual analog. And then I started playing with the Xbox One, and you find out that it's more comfortable. And what I felt like is that they had a lot of opportunity, considering how much bigger Sony was than everybody else, to redesign that controller. So it was
I
more
don't know if I'd
ergonomic.
say Sony's bigger than Microsoft.
I have to agree with that.
Okay, they had more market share than everybody
There you
else.
go.
You know, because Microsoft, you know, that's
Right.
That's huge, yeah.
And so I feel like they had a chance to change, and they could have changed, and the only thing that they did was put in the 6-axis, which is stupid.
Well,
It's stupid.
There's more additions in that.
Well, going back to the Xbox controller, the original Xbox controller was huge. Remember
It
that?
was.
Most people
Yeah.
couldn't handle how big it was, but they shrank it. That was a big improvement.
Yeah.
I will give it that. It was a big
and
improvement.
they just continue
But
to
PlayStation's
improve upon it.
first design was so ill that guess what? It's exactly the same right now.
Just telling you,
It's
man.
just, this is a difference of opinion.
No, it
Difference of
wasn't.
opinions.
Listen, here's the deal. It was great without the analogs. If they would have done something different with the analogs, they could have broke the bank. Right?
I
can't
need
really-
those analogs. I need those analogs. They could do it without the digital pad, as far as I'm concerned.
That's true.
Fuck
I
that.
need the analog.
I like the D-pad, man. I'm a 2D
D-pads
gamer.
for fighting.
D-pad.
I'm a 2D gamer all the
Yeah.
way also.
To
You know-
these and fighting games, like if you don't have a stick, you want the pad.
Yeah.
You don't want an analog for Tekken.
Speaking of the digital pad, the Xbox digital pad has got to be
Oh,
a
it's
piece of
one of-
shit, dude. Come on.
I hate that thing.
I mean, I know you can fix it. It's just it's so hard to get your
You
hands
got
on
an
that thing.
Xbox controller over here. Yeah, right there, dude. Grab that.
You're closer. I can't get out.
The fuck did you? Yeah, exactly. And
These
you know,
triggers are too close. My fingers are like.
okay, listen. Look at it this way, okay?
Okay. We have the great debate going now.
So when you handle it, it's more ergonomic than doing this. This is where your hand sits when you're playing
Why
PS2.
would you sit with your fingers like that, dear Lord?
What are you supposed to like this? Watch.
With the triggers like that, you're not doing this. You gotta do it like this, man. Because if you're sitting there with both fingers like that, you're gonna get a cramp eventually.
I have to beg to differ, though. If you're playing a game like Call of Duty, you need to have all hands on deck, as they say.
Yep.
You need to be able to do
that's
everything.
That's not the way I play. I only use.
And so
you
this
use
is
two
what I'm
fingers.
saying.
You two fingers on top. So I mean, all right. This is more feasible than this.
No.
Well, that's just weird. What's at least like this? It's like both right there. It's conformed.
Switch
you know.
controllers.
Dude,
Switch
okay.
controllers.
That's just weird right there.
You guys argue
okay.
about the controllers.
Okay. Oh, dude, I can't even tell you how
on,
hard
just
this
do it.
is.
Just do
These
it.
triggers are all like thin and skinny.
What?
It's like, come on, man.
Versus
I
the
need-
fall off that you have here.
Yep.
The
You just toss
nubs?
grenades. Yep. Toss grenades like wow.
The nubs.
Toss grenades.
I'm just saying, when you're playing, I'm sorry, this doesn't. I mean, like, I don't know how many AK-47s that you've handled that
All right,
have
these
nubs.
buttons are too close. These buttons are too close.
So that's all I'm
Let me see
saying.
that controller really quick. I just want to make sure.
I'm sorry, these buttons on the
No,
top are
this
too
is
close.
yeah, that's a good point. See, different in styles.
Hold it though. Those buttons on the top are too close. Put both your fingers up there.
A little close. I will admit. I don't. The one thing I don't like about the
Oh
Xbox
yeah,
controller.
yeah.
personally-
No, you can buy these for what, like $20, $5. Okay.
Thank you, graphics department.
Yeah. So anyway, you can buy these later if you wanted to, but still, dude. God, it's just so.
I don't
wonky.
like those. I'd rather have stock. I want my fingers to slide. I want to just tap it.
I don't know. My biggest complaint. This is gonna sound hilarious. But my biggest complaint about the Xbox controller is the buttons.
I was gonna say that.
Oh yeah,
exactly
the
what I was gonna
buttons.
say. That.
That's my biggest. And the D-pad.
They're like convex.
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 They're too convex.
Yeah, if they were just a little bit
Too much.
flatter, that would be great.
It's like the opposite of the Super Nintendo buttons. It was concave. Those
Yeah.
are great buttons.
Yeah. Well, half were concave, half were
Well,
convex.
yeah, the bottom.
But they
and
were
the top.
done right.
They were done right.
That's too much. It's like, especially whenever you have to do sliding commands or anything like that, it hurts to do that after a while, especially in a fighting game.
Versus this, like
Oh
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm seeing
Perfect.
Well,
Perfect.
I wouldn't do. Okay, to be honest, I wouldn't do that motion. Usually, I don't do that motion on controller. Anyways, I do it on this thing. So.
Right. So I'm just saying that like I don't know. Like I said, and then you've got fucking finger collision.
No,
See,
that never happens.
What
That
we
never
need is a
happens.
game for
you. Don't use the balls of your thumb. You use
Why
the
not?
tips of your thumb.
So if you were in a place where you had to use the balls of your thumb, you could not use.
I don't
the
know
PS2
what kind of place are you going to be in where you got to use the balls of your thumb. Well, hell, look, these are even closer if you want to like mess with the digital and the analog.
But how long do you
I
mess
will
with
admit.
that?
I will admit. These are for fingertips and those are for thumbs. I will admit because you don't.
Because they're concave.
Yeah, you do it like this with this, and the other one, you put your fingertip on the top.
I don't necessarily do that.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just. It's an extreme example for the camera. I'm not. Yeah. Almost
Like a glove.
for you. Yes.
Like a derp.
Like a glove.
Okay.
I guess that's all we have time for. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and I'd love to thank our panel. Z, thank you very much. ICC, thank you for showing up. And Samurai, thanks a lot. And of course, I'm Chris, your host, and we'll see you next time.
And questions, comments, guys, please leave them for us. If you thought that our points were great, or if you want to talk about anything yourselves, just go ahead and let us know.
And if you hate what he said, go ahead and let us know about that too.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody start talking about something again, and we're going to fade out as if it's going to
Yeah,
continue.
like
I
the
see.
newscasters, you know.
Right. Oh, now we can.
We can actually be ourselves.
Man, I really don't like him, man. I didn't want to say it on camera, but
It's okay. It's okay. Nobody really likes me. I really don't have any friends, so I try. Cheers to that.
Yeah, cheers.
Jay Leno and his guest, how he's sitting there.